Football, it's a game of inches. Careers, seasons, championships, all defined by the tiniest of margins. So what happens when those inches become automatic? When one team discovers a play so potent, so unstoppable that it threatens to rewrite the rules of the game itself. You might have heard of it by now. It's the Tush Push, it's the brotherly shove, plant your feet behind Jalen and shove on his... Whatever way you slice it, it's the most controversial play in football. So why is it so effective? Why is it dividing the NFL in two? And could it be outlawed in the very near future? At its core, the Tush Push looks innocent. A classic QB sneak, a short yardage play that's been in the sport for over a century. But this is no ordinary sneak. In this version, the quarterback isn't just diving forward on his own. He's being launched by teammates behind him who drive their full weight into his back, transforming one man's lunge into a violent coordinated surge. It's a play that would make Isaac Newton proud. The mass of a 1,000-pound human freight train, coupled with a violent explosion of acceleration maximizing the transfer of force. Since 2022, the Eagles have stamped their name on the Tush Push, turning it from a trick into a trademark. And its effectiveness is borderline absurd. I mean, take a look at these stats over the past few years. A 90% conversion rate, 27 touchdowns. Defenses know it's coming, the formation isn't fooling anyone, and they still can't stop it. So everyone at first was thinking, hey, the NFL is a copycat league, everybody will just mimic the play. But there's a twist. Not everybody has the muscle nor the precision to pull this off. The Eagles roster is crafted with the play in mind. They've got the most dominant line in football and a QB who can squat 600 pounds. Jalen Hurts isn't just strong, he's the perfect battering ram. Every snap is timed, every inch is rehearsed, every shove is deliberate. This isn't just a play anymore, it's a system, it's a weapon. One that is now firmly in the spotlight after the Eagles' latest Super Bowl victory. On the 25th of February, the Green Bay Packers officially submitted a proposal to ban the play from the game. Following the Eagles' victory over them in this year's wildcard, Mark Murphy claimed there was no skill involved, and its legality was bad for the game. This inevitably set off a storm around the league. To some, it's brilliant. For others, it's just a curse. At the latest NFL offseason meeting in Florida, the league was split right down the middle, 16 for, 16 against. These are the teams that we know are in favor of banning the play. Remember, it's the owners casting the vote here, not the head coaches. With rule changes requiring 75% approval, however, the NFL has postponed a final decision until May, but now the battle lines are being drawn. So why don't we take a look at each side of the argument? First, critics say it creates an unfair advantage because, let's be honest, not every team has Jalen Hurts, not every team has an offensive line like Philadelphia's. Defenses are handcuffed, unable to fully commit to the run, unable to submarine the line, and at the mercy of the offensive snap count. Even the spot of the ball favors the offense. A defensive stop gets placed at the point of forward progress. So even if they could eventually drive him back, it would all be in vain. They win the inches either way. It's a one-sided war in the trenches. And for a league built on parity, that's a massive problem. Then there's the question of safety. Combine extreme mass with sudden acceleration in close quarters, and Newton's laws don't just bend, they break bodies. As one NFL owner is quoted, it's not if, but when a catastrophic injury occurs. But whilst the league's chief medical officer presented hypothetical injury data, existing examples are few and far between. Still, the competition committee chairman voiced concern, not just from injury footage, but from aesthetics. He asked, is this even football anymore, or is it turning into rugby? Roger Goodell echoed that unease.
There are safety issues that are being considered in that case. We have very little data from it, but it's beyond data. There's also, there's the mechanism of injury that we study.
In that sense, the league seemed to be leaning towards a ban. However, why punish a team for mastering something everyone else failed to figure out? If you want to stop the tush push, you play better defense. Don't allow short yardage situations. Let's not pretend that unfair advantage is anything new in the NFL. Mahomes' arm is unfair, Lamar's legs are unfair, Jefferson's hands are unfair. Talent is uneven. That's the point of football. Every team tailors its playbook to its roster. The Eagles, in this instance, just did it better. Sirianni felt insulted by those labeling it an automatic play, given the amount of time they have dedicated to perfecting the push. Those in favour on the defensive side of the ball see it merely as a test. It's their job to stop the play. As for the argument about aesthetics, football isn't always pretty. Kickoffs exist for commercials. QB kneels, end games in a whimper. There's nothing glamorous about a pile of bodies on a 1-yard gain. But physicality, that's the soul of the sport. The tush push isn't a bug in the system, it's the embodiment of the game of inches. And what then of the quarterback sneak? A play remarkably similar that too should have health and safety concerns attached to it. If you ban the tush push, you're sending a message that raw power has no place in modern football. So let's imagine the league pulled the plug. The pre-2004 rule is re-implemented in some capacity. No more pushing, no more mass movement, no more tush push. What happens then? Well, Eagles fans go crazy. The team loses a lethal tool, that's for sure. But will they stop sneaking the ball altogether? Doubtful to say the least, particularly against the teams that voted against them. The real concern isn't what Philadelphia loses, it's what the league might. Because once you start outlawing what works too well, then when does it stop? Mike Vrabel nailed it when he said Lamar shouldn't be able to run with a football anymore. How about that rule? It's also tough to defend, and he's not wrong. Football is a game of mismatches. When you erase what makes teams different, you flatten the sport itself. The tush push may be raw and it may be messy, but that's real football. The kind played for the inches and not on algorithms. Sure, offensive minds will go immediately searching for the next edge, they always do. But in a game built on such razor-thin margins, maybe the most primal play of all deserves its spot in the modern era. Because when push comes to shove, well, I guess that's the whole point.